either way you cut it, all right, he's dishonest. By the way, the science didn't change, but either way you cut it, he's dishonest, because the thing is, the clinical trials before the pandemic, almost all of them found no benefit from regular folks walking around with masks. I'm not talking about hospitals. I'm talking about walking around the city like you see, or going to the grocery store wearing a mask. So that's what the studies showed. So the rationale behind him flipping, or who knows?
Then why did he change his position?
That's a great question. I mean, what he said, of course, was that he was trying to save the masks for healthcare workers. But how can you even believe? I mean, it's hard to.
Well, so I'll say this: we've had conversations about masks before. We're outside of all of this pandemic stuff now, so I don't know where any like YouTube's policies sit on this stuff. But we've pulled up the CDC's website, and it actually it's not as crazy as a lot of there's the pro-mask people and the anti-mask people. It's actually decently, moderate when it comes to masks. Like the CDC said, there's a marginal benefit. It's decent enough that they would recommend it in some circumstances. Like the obvious thing I would say, obviously if you're sick and you're wearing a mask, you're going to stop some coughing, sneezing, and spitting on people and something like that, right?
Sure. But that's different from whether wearing a mask reduces the chance of someone else getting a virus. And even, I get it, like the idea that you think something's going to work and therefore it should work. But that's why we have clinical studies, right?
Well, but the CDC on their website now says that there was a moderate reduction in like 70 different studies. At least this is the last time we pulled up this huge list of studies there.
Yeah, I know. And so this is dishonest science, because I mentioned vitamin D earlier, right? So you've got your observational studies that always find a relationship where at the low levels and bad health outcomes. And then you've got your clinical trials that unfortunately most of the time haven't found a benefit. The same thing goes for masks. They pull up these observational studies and they hang their hats on them. And the observational studies are finding these huge reductions. And then they say, oh, look at this. The masks work great, and make those, everyone should wear them, including kids, like the most ridiculous part. I've got little kids myself. But then you look at during the pandemic, there were at least 2 large clinical trials. One found zero, no benefit. The second one found
was that
Denmark.
Also,
pardon?
Was that also an observational study?
No, this was a clinical trial. Like this is, you randomize people, you give, and you that's the gold standard for testing stuff, whether something actually works. That's how, if it really works, and it should work in a clinical trial too. And one study found no benefit. There was so much spin, by the way, when that study came out by medical doctors trying to explain why there wasn't a benefit. The second study basically found no benefit. There was no benefit for cloth masks, none whatsoever. For surgical masks, there was like a 10% reduction. So, 12% versus 11% of people tested positive. Like this is the thing that they're letting people fight over in airports about. And then for young people, there was zero benefit whatsoever in the second study. So it's a big lie. I mean, it's not like they don't know what evidence is. That's what evidence is.